So let's begin now. पहले हम लोगों ने जो first we will see what we had discussed last week, how it panned out quickly. So as per last week's discussion, uh, I was like bullish on Thursday but expecting Bank Nifty to go down. This was the case. So it actually panned out the same way as expected. It went up, tested this, and then it fell down. Let me zoom out the chart a little bit. I was if you remember, I noted this 32 150 ka level is pretty important. Monday ko it sustained somehow, but Tuesday ko as soon as it gapped down, is it clearly showed an a big fall within first 30 or 45 minutes. So in index terms, last week's discussion played out exactly the way we wanted. um, then we discussed about these many stocks last week, so just quickly go through this. So Adani Ports, if you remember, I was like not to buy on the breakouts, but better to wait for retest and then buy. So I think it was a good call to take because gap up, okay, it could not sustain and immediately went down. Then it sustained, did a trap move, and today it gapped down and again trying to break up. So now going forward for next week, if this sustains this level, we are going to buy it now. Okay. Also keeping in mind that this zone may act as a resistance. So during intraday, if you see any kind of exhaustion between 387 to 392, I'll note it down for you. 387 to 392. If you see any kind of exhaustion in this zone, just tighten your stop loss or exit. Unless and until the price does not crosses 388, like only above 388 you are looking for buy, not below that. And on downside, if it rejects this line, then here you can go short. So the Adani ports, we will be carrying this for next week as well. And now it is the time. I think it is ready to give good moves. As you can see, some delivery was happening here. This is the delivery values. So some delivery has happened in this, and at the highs, normally selling happens as it was the trading range and all stuff. So some selling have happened. Now if it breaks out, new buyers will come, and if it breaks down, these laggard buyers will face the heat and they'll exit. So now this Adani Ports is ready to trade this week. Last week we did not get any trade as per the discussion. Then Axis Bank, actually I was bullish. I am bullish. I was and I am bullish. I was expecting last to last week to break up. Then last week I was expecting to break up, but eventually this POS line got broken, and after breaking sorry, after breaking the POS line, it almost touched this trading range. This complete trading range it touched. Now at this point I am expecting a drop below and bounce. The levels I'll be looking at is 707 to 702. These are calculated levels. It's not like a price should come and bounce here. This is one of the reversal zone for price. Okay, and if it fails, then my price can come up to this particular level and then bounce. Basically this I'm considering, which comes around 695. So either 700 to 702. If you see any kind of reversal patterns on 15 minutes chart, blindly take the buy. The stop loss will be very less and the reward will be very high. And if it does not sustain, then look for reversal signs in 695 levels. uh, is my drawing visible over here? Because just a second. Oh, it is not visible. uh, I don't know why. Just give me a second. Some drawings are not visible, so I need to check that. Okay, just a second. It's my systems. Now I think it should not happen. Uh, let's go to another stock and see whether my drawings are visible or not now, because I think I have resolved the problem. Let me check once. Yeah, let's check now what happens. Yeah, it's visible now, so no worries. This was the minor technical issues, I was trying to figure out, and that's why just we started bit late. Then Bajaj Auto, as expecting, a bounce back into the range but could not hold this, and the fall was pretty drastic, you can say. Actually, I was looking for a bounce on this day, and it closed below this level. So I did shorted Bajaj Finance on Monday after seeing the opening and the Iran news. So yeah, Bajaj Finance, Bajaj Auto, and then we were discussing Bajaj Finance. I was, very much bearish on the stock. Even I was only expected to buy above this, or I was like, we had more discussion on the bearish side because of the supply line of channel, and it did give a good trade on Tuesday. So yeah, that's Bajaj Finance. Now there is nothing can be done on Bajaj Finance. Most likely it, you know may do some trapping here. It will trap both buyers and sellers, and eventually it may bounce from this level or this level. But for next week, I don't think it's gonna give you easy trades. Lot of volatility is expected now in this, and you can see on this breakdown day, we have a huge delivery quantity. So yeah, that's Bajaj Finance. Britannia still in range. We will be taking this stock into the next week. Same analysis, expecting a breakout. Cipla may, as expected, it broke down small, 1 to 1.5% we were expecting. It gave 2% move. So no trades here. Like, I wasn't looking to trade Cipla anyways. Now this is interesting. Uh, as discussed, in the last stream, this was your POS line. This was our POS line. On the break of POS line, we were expecting, to test this zone and eventually this zone, and on the breakout I got this target. Now you can see how nicely it touched and bounced today. Gap down, touch and bounce today. So now if I'm expecting, if quick reversal happens, then you can draw a trend line like this on lower time frames, maybe 5 minutes, 15 minutes, anything. You will get a big trend line, and once the trend line is taken out, trade that, take that buy. For short side, I'm not recommending ICICI this on the short side. IndusInd Bank में we were expecting a break of this POS, then a test, and that was your this like the test, break of POS, retest, and then that's your retest sell trade we discussed last week. It did happen, broke this, closed below the POS, tried to went back, could not sustain, and immediately fall down. And today it was holding at the lower levels. So IndusInd Bank also played out pretty well as per the analysis. Infi here we missed. Infi May I was expecting upside move, but failed miserably. Left a fake out and fall down below the range. Now it is pretty interesting to see whether this previous range, is it going to accept this price, or is it going to reject the price and throw it back up within this range. So it's not advisable to trade in fee this coming week, but you can keep an track of the price action which it developed. Like here it's an accumulation because eventually it broke out, then price again stayed in a narrow range, and instead of breakout it faked out. So basically what happens, let's say if some big institutions took a long position here, along with them breakout of this range, many retailers also joined them. So what they do this so that more retailers join, and then the weak retailers, the weak hands will be shaken out. Okay, so when these retailers who bought here, now they are selling, just guess who is going to buy those stock? Obviously these big institutes, because now they are getting lots of liquidity because of the SL getting triggered of these positional retailers. So this is one of the possible way I'm looking at. Also, in a different point of view, we can have this trend line, sort of trend line or POS line, more looks like a trend line to me. And you see below the trend line, it price is getting rejected today. Something like this will look good. So that is also one of the view, one of the way we can look at it. So yeah, that's nothing special in delivery terms. So slow accumulation was happening here. This was the point where we knew that something is happening, either buying or selling this delivery, and eventually it broke out. So now we can conclusively say some buying was happening here. Even though it's a red candle, still some buying was happening here silently, and eventually it broke out, tested and bounced back up. Okay, so and anyways, after this my price actually did travel more than 5% already, so more 10% to go. but if it sustains, so keep and track on Infi. I hope my audio and video and pen markings are visible now. Please confirm. Kotak. This was the trend line which is coming out. This was your accumulation. Then again, this was your accumulation breakdown. And now it is at the edge of this accumulation area. So maybe, either it is testing or something is happening here. And also, if you see these 2 days, suddenly volume picked up. Okay, but price is not moving anywhere, and we are near a support which was acting as resistance earlier. Now it's support, and on support we are having volumes which is greater than last 2 3 weeks, and price is holding that support. Okay, so it is interesting to see whether it bounces or what. So to trade that, you have this narrow channel playing out. Below the channel, look for sell. Above the channel, look for buy. I particularly, looking for buy on the long side, because this is one of my favorite patterns. You can say it's a flag or something like that, but I treat it in a different way. And more like it looks like it's gonna break on the upside. Normally it breaks on the upside. So yeah, Kotak mein I am pretty bullish. Tata Steel, I was bearish on the stock, but also I discussed that we may do a fake out and then start falling, and expecting a quick fall in this. Okay, and just remember, there any news on coal mines, any particular news on coal mines will affect steel industry directly. Okay, and there is some news on coal mine. Government is giving something to coal mining, so there is some positive news on steel industry. So as soon as this news will settle in. Okay, so there is also a news on Kotak Bank on Thursday. Bombay High Court will resume hearing on Kotak Bank's case against RBI. Oh, thank you, Vishwanathan. I didn't aware of it, so I'll have to keep track of that as well. So, anyways, we were talking about this steel industry. So, coal mine का कुछ न्यूज़ है, government has done something. I have to, just before starting the session, I got that message from some of my friends. So I will go through the news and update in the group accordingly. But unless, once this news subsidize, it has to give correction. One correction is pending. So keep an eye on this. Rejection from higher levels will be a good opportunity to take an intraday sell position in this. I am expecting this path, to follow in coming days. Now let's see how this pans out. Wipro moved as expected. If you remember, I was like only buy above this candle's high. As soon as it broke out, it is now continuously moving since last 4 days. Okay, but trading this, some days is not easy. Like for last 4 day, even though it is moving higher, you can see one rise up, then sideways, one rise up, then sideways, gap down and rise. So only in this was pretty much tradable if you are not a positional holder. Okay, so yeah, even though on the daily it looks like all four green bars back to back above the level, but actually when you go on intraday charts, you can see The movement is been done very quickly. Only this was the day, 7th of Jan ka day, where we could have, possibly traded it. I was looking on 6th because it did closed above this level, and I was tracking this zone, red zone, as you can see, for the 6th, and never got any strength by the buyers, so could not trade. I did not track this on 7th, and actually it moved on that day, so I missed it. uh, yes bank, we discussed 45.2. It did went below yesterday and closed at 45.05, and today it is again up. Also notice during these 3 days actually nothing significant has happened in terms of price action, but volume is quietly increasing. And if you check delivery data में भी कुछ नहीं है. So lots of trading going on in this. So it's better to wait out and again keep watching this 45.2 ka level. On the upside, I'll be tracking this high. Only above this high, I'll keep start watching it again. Till then, even I'm not going to analyze this particular stock. That level I'll give you 48.9 it is. And Zeal may, as expected, very nice move. I traded this day, Monday, Tuesday, both days. Good profits, hit the target, bounced, rejected, and again, a sort of doji with low volume. Basically, this doji with low volume is your basically a test bar. At this is basically a support level, you can say. Okay, even though I got this level from some calculations, oh no, sorry, not this level, this zone you can see behind via some calculation, and this level is the breakout of this trend line. This is your target 1 and target 2, 1x and 2x of breakout of this trend line. So it does act as a support, right? So at support, this big institutes, or what I call them as big boys. Okay, so whenever you hear big boys from my mouth, just assume some big institutions I'm talking about. So these big institutes, do a testing thing. They see whether the demand is present or not. Some buyers are, willing to buy at this price or not. If they don't see buyers, price will go down to, through the next support area to look for buyers, which is coming here as we discussed last week. So yeah, I'll be monitoring that as well for the coming week. But yeah, this week, apart from Bank Nifty, Zeal was one of the good trades I took these 2 days. No, from within first 5-10 minutes I got an entry and completely, almost completely ate the completely rode the price downward movement. So this was our last week's discussion. Some of them we are carrying forward for the next week, and let's see what's new we have this week. So let me erase this sheet, and now let's move on to this week's. Let me add those to our weekly stocks for the. Okay, so Adani Ports we discussed already. It is coming from the previous week. Then this week, Asian Paints. I'm not sure what is happening in Asian Paints, but something is going on. Heavy selling on volumes, on delivery quantity. Okay, these 2 days. But if you check intraday charts, this move and gliding down. Okay, this move and holding the level. So that delivery which we are seeing, whether it's buying or selling, it's very hard to say for now, because from the last 2 days it is not moving anywhere, like one day down, one day up. That too, it's a grinding move. Okay, so something is happening here. I'm not sure what, but by the look of it, if you see this trading range here, this trading range, the price is holding there only. Also, we have this trend line where it has done this two bar reversal thing, in your terms, what you call bullish engulfing, then a test of this trend line, and again, not able to sustain below the trend line. So let's see how it works out. If it breaks down this low, basically this 2 days low, then you can expect it. Oops, sorry. Okay, then you can expect it to go down for 2x ka targets, this. Okay, so but I'll be watching it for a couple of more days, and we'll try to find out what is actually happening. There is a possibility of gap filling tomorrow, so if you want to take a scalp trade, you can do that. It's a good price range, 37 say 40, it's like 10-12 points is there for gap trade you can do, because यहाँ पे ये gap बनने के पहले last action was this, which was a strong buying and halt and again strong buying, so ये buyers area था पहले. So यहाँ पे supply आना is like, here the possibility of supply coming till the gap fill is not that strong. So you can play tomorrow or day after tomorrow if it goes for the gap fill. But I'll wait for a couple of days and see how the price action is developing. But yeah, it is for sure that something is going on here. Just is the matter of time till we know what is exactly happening. Then Axis Bank, again we discussed, it is coming from the previous week. Bajaj Finance, we will not be tracking this. Britannia, coming from the last week, we will be looking for signs of strength on the upside. Do keep track on the volumes. Volumes will give you all the informations. Whenever you see any bar which is above this white line, is your 20 days ka simple moving average, not exponential one. And when you see any volume above that, uh, that is the day when you decide what to do next. Till then, watch Sipla. Again, it's in the holding region. Actually, there is this. I'm keeping Sipla in my track list because I want to know what is actually happening here. Just for learning purpose. There is no trade plans in Sipla for me. Coal India is the new entry. This was the trend line we were following, or rather you can say POS line we were following, and it did a runaway gap. Okay, and volume was pretty high. So if you go and check on the intraday time frames, where are the volume coming? See, this is the area where the volume was coming in. Okay, so this was the fall, and that's your rise. Now all you need is price to trade below and form a narrow range. That break of the range is your trade. This is 5 minutes chart, right? So maybe on 15 minutes it may look a bit differently, like this is a sort of a range we are looking at. Okay, so some kind of range you expect, and then breakdown of that range will be your trade entry. It may happen tomorrow, day after tomorrow, or after that. But On the sell side, if it goes, because you can see volume is getting attached and the selling is heavy, and this is just, you know, retracement of profit bookings and new positions are building up. So coal India intraday के लिए you will get a good opportunity. Also keep in mind that we are into a zone. This previous support, now this zone will act as a support zone. Okay, so buying may emerge, but you will get your trade, that short trade, intraday short trade you will get. Again, Grasim, after, you know, I rode this whole rally continuously 4 day. I rode this rally for 4 days, and again now it is giving signs that it may go up. But here the question is how to track that thing, because the price is almost moving in a sideways fashion. So if you say you can plan to trade this range ka like this, breakout retest and then go long, or breakdown retest and then go short. So this is not going to work here, because if you see this intraday chart very carefully, some sort of activity is emerging in group. You can see this high volume. Whenever you are getting, you know, continuous bars of high volume, the price is moving drastically. So both side parties are present here. So this breakout trade in such situations we should not do. Okay, so just some more data, if it you develop some more data, we may look for trade. Another thing you can do is you can use your VWAP trades. This pink line is your VWAP. Okay, so as you see rejection from VWAP and forming a range, then you can sell. Okay, like here this was your VWAP hovering, so for tomorrow you can take this range and play for VWAP hovering technique, which we have covered in VWAP wala webinar. So this is a valid VWAP ka hovering. You can define, I'm just taking this levels, hovering ka higher level and lower level approximately. You can use these 3 bar principles and identify those levels. I think high level is correct, and lower level will come somewhere here. So let me draw it for you. This bar ka high is your level. This bar ka high is your higher level, and yeah, this bar ka low is your lower level. So these two levels you can look for trade tomorrow based on VWAP hovering technique if it moves. Let's see how this works out. Tomorrow I'll be, you know, looking at I have decided to trade Grasim if it shows some opportunities. HDFC Bank, this range playing out very nicely, bottom of the zone where it is bouncing. Also it broke the trend line, broke the trend line, retest, and now holding below. So now all you want is, you know, continuation to the zone again. So that is your trade. Okay, there is a high possibility that it may remain in sideways move. So all you are trying to trade is this, you know, upper say when it is coming from up, you are looking for short, and when it is going up, you are looking for long. This sort of small quick trades you are looking for. Okay, HUL, somehow it feels like this bar, today's bar is demand overcoming supply. Highly likely demand is overcoming supply. Also, we are in a trading range. Just ignore this extensions for now. We are in a trading range, broke down, and immediately some buying appeared. So if you check on the intraday time frames, see the sort of move we have. First up, then formed a range, which broke upside and formed another range and eventually closed on the higher levels. So when you see such kind of moves on intraday basis, it's clearly indicate that some buying is happening, because big boys requires lot of time to accumulate their position. So look for buy on dips in Hindustan Lever. That's all I can say. It is target. It may target, at the first target is this high, range ka high, and then if it breaks out, then we will decide whether it has strength to target this zone or not. But it's a slow moving stock, so it will take time to reach रेंज हाई तक भी पहुंचने को उसको टाइम लगेगा. ICICI first target done near support, holding nicely. Uh, Below this, look for sell. Okay, or in fact, below this low, today's low, look for sell. And if you observe closely, we have some sort of a POS line forming from last 2 weeks. So if we go on intraday charts and make that line, it will look something like this. So only on the break of this POS line will be your entry. Okay, so and break of this is your sell position. And also this, if you see, now this is something which will be new for you. Sometimes you see some this sort of patterns forming. Okay, a reverse Y, a Y, okay, A, not fully A but partial A, or something like this. Okay, so here what you can take is the first move becomes your A and B points. Okay, like here, this is your A and B points. Here, this is your A and B points. Here, this is your A and B points. So if your this point is small and this is large, you take extensions. Okay, this Fibonacci extensions. You plot from this to this and start calculating this. If this is extending more than 161.8%, then you always look for pullbacks to sell. Okay, now here this is your normal Fibonacci retracement, which should touch 61.8%. Then in that situation you can draw a channel like this. Always look for buy here and sell here. Okay, if you see such things and you again see this, iska extension is 161.8%. Look for pullbacks to sell. Okay, and if you see this again Fibonacci, and यहाँ से you draw channel, here look for sell, here look for buy, unless and until any of this level is breaking out. अभी ये breakout कैसा होगा? So let's say this is your level. I need a candle which is closing above, and इसका 50%, half of the candle should be above the line या fully above the line. पूरा का पूरा candle ऊपर होना चाहिए. Then only you can consider के that range is breakout. Unless and until ऐसा नहीं दिखता, expect a fake out may happen and it may continue for this supply line, demand line. Okay, so something like that is happening here. If you take this point and this point, you can see ये exact 61% है, and आपको मिलेगा. Most of the time you will find this 61%. This pattern is very much, trending pattern. आज निफ्टी में भी हुआ है, आज इंडाइसेस में भी हुआ था. Okay, so if you take this channel and draw something like this, you will always look for sell here and buy here till the channel is not getting broken. Okay, regarding extensions, let me find an example to explain how can you, let's say for example, this does not look like an extension, but we will, just for study purpose I will show you. Let's say this is your this structure and you want to use these extensions. So what you will do is you will take this to this your first move and put it here, and this type of pattern forms now. So from this to this will be your extension line, like you can say this dotted line, and this point will come here, and that to that will be your 161.8% below this. Okay, so any pullback, look for sell. So these are the few things which is coming from PBPA card techniques. So yeah, new thing you learned. So इसमें we have both side views, huh? Below this we will sell, below that we will buy, and intraday charts पे you have that channel forming, so you can trade that channel unless and until that channel is getting broken. You can look for buy at the lows. बीच में trade नहीं करना है. You are not supposed to trade in between that channel. Only near the upper line or lower line you are supposed to take trades. Kotak we discussed. Kotak did we discussed? Yeah, Kotak is coming from the last week. So yeah, Maruti, now it is doing something. It started doing something. Okay, so like in this range forming two bars, if you see this in terms of HLC bars, you will see the closing is not proper. This is the bearish bar, could not even break the low neither high, tries to break the low but closed within the range of this bar. So it indicates someone is trying to buy here. Now this buyer could be जिसने यहाँ पे short किया है, those people are covering their position. So either this can be your short covering or new buying might be emerging. These are the two possibilities. Now we want to see whether it's a short covering or new buying emerging. If it's a short covering on intraday charts, you will see large spikes. Whereas if it's new buying, you will see slowly price moving up. Okay, so let's check on intraday how the things are looking out. Spike up, okay, and this slowly moving up. What about the volumes? At least at the end of this you have some volume getting attached here. Okay, then here this move, and what sort of volume you can see here? It's a dead area basically. It's just trading activity, so nothing is happening here. We can see some sort of buying is coming in here from the lows in fact. Okay, it was trading in this range, left a fake out, and then prices started grinding upwards and eventually volume picked up. Okay, so here we have only one sign of volume appearing. Also we have some signs of volume in this narrow trading range, which can mean anything. So for now, by the look of it, we are partially or weakly, very low confidently we can say that some buying might be happening here. It's very much possible. Okay, so जब भी ऐसा सिनेरियो रहता है, look for POS lines here. This could be your POS line, but it is already broken. And if you take this POS line, then it won't be a valid POS line, because this is a tail, a trap, bear trap. Break above the range and फंसा दिया सबको. Okay, so this high you cannot consider. You have to consider the next swing high, which is this, and यहाँ पे POS is broken. So this POS we cannot use. POS stands for price on one side. Okay, this is not equal to your trend lines. Trend line where buyers or sellers are supposed to get activated. Okay, POS is just for reference. Okay, this is just for your reference, whereas this trend line is tradable. You can trade based on trend lines, but you cannot trade based on POS lines. And I use POS lines very often. We have discussed POS lines in some webinar. I think Vivapka webinar mein we discussed, I think. So yeah, in the end, we are looking for some sort of buying emerging, and this trend line is getting accepted. The price is getting accepted above the trend line, this trend line, and if it breaks, we will have our targets like something like this. Now here we can have to take this. Yeah, that's 1, and that's your 2x. But I don't think it will come down to test. Yeah, it is very much possible that it may come down to test this and again swing back like here it happened. But this time it is very unlikely that, don't know, buying is already emerging. So let's see how things pan out. We will see. I'll mark it out for next week references. Either this or this we are expecting. Then next is your Reliance. Reliance I normally don't pick for trades so easily, but here now this is forming a range and some high volume activity is happening in this range. Actually not this one, but this one, some high volume activity is happening here. Okay, and also we have level from swing points. We are near the 61% car retracement levels. So this is a good point if it wants to bounce back up. Okay, also you can see here this was a trend line. Okay, it broke the trend line, but till date there is no follow through. It's been 10 days, still we are not getting any follow through. So it's better to watch Reliance for this particular trading range, how it pans out. SBIN, I've selected SBIN because it is a strong PSU, and PSU का sector, if you see, it is at the bottom of the trading range. If it breaks out, obviously its heavyweight Reliance will break down, and if it holds and start bouncing up, if this PSU sector as a whole holds and start bouncing up, then obviously SBIN will also do the same. Okay, and budget is coming up, keep that in mind. Secondly, for Reliance, for SBIN, we have this trend line. This is a trend line. Okay, so opened below and closed. Yesterday also touched the trend line and some small buying is happening. Okay. Secondly, if you see this, these two bars, check out the volumes on these two bars. Check out the sizes of these two bars. Obviously, second bar has low spread and high volume. So basically, this is a red bar or closing near the lows means bears. Supply supply has put lot of efforts to mark the price down, but some hidden buying was present there, which led to high volume. Okay, so this is your an example of effect versus result. Okay, the same example uh, also happened here, like that. The spread is decreased but the volume remains same. So means some sort of buying was happening, yeah, some sort of opposite activity was present. Whether it's strong or not depends on what kind of follow through we get. And today if we say that some type of hidden buying is there, we opened gap down and price moved up. Now if we go and check on intraday time frame, how does it moved up? You can see first rally, it's a strong rally, right, in two parts. That's the first part, that's the second part. Then we have this, then we have this. Whereas if you see, whenever the correction move was happening, it is very sluggish. So this is an confirmation for this previous day that some sort of buying was happening. That is the effort versus result, you can google it out. Okay, it's a Wyckoff thing, so you can google it out. It is available, plenty of examples, plenty of videos available on YouTube, Google, articles. Tata Steel we discussed already. TCS trying to break out, volume is good. Okay, and approaching its previous highs. So I have selected it because to observe whether it is getting like this or like this. It has to spend some time here, and the result season is coming up. Okay, so also that is also in my mind, okay, how the result season is panning out. We also have this pattern again. So here you can expect to buy any dips. Okay, here I have taken this point and this point, done the extension ka A and B, and this point is my C, and eventually my target will be 161, which is somewhere above here. This is a long term target, not like within months or within weeks you will get, but yeah, eventually we should bounce there. Okay, but the again problem is it should sustain this resistance level. If it breaks out like here, also you can see here we had this Y shape, did not cross the high. Here we are crossing the high. Now we have to see whether it sustains here or comes back down. If it sustains, then look for the breakout. Okay, so that's TCS. Ultrachem gave double breakout. This was the first breakout of this trend line, and now trying to break the second trend line. Also there is a possibility of stock going into a range. Okay, so now if it starts trading above the high of today's candle, the trading range breakout will happen and trend line breakout will get confirmed. Okay, and if it gets rejected, then we have two possibilities. We will look for continuation on the downside or retest and bounce. So 3 4 probabilities we have in this, and Ultrachem is one of the good stock to trade. It will not give you immediate trades, okay, but the day it gives you trade, it will give you one directional without any pullback, a continuous move on the upside. You can check his previous historical data. Whenever it gave a good move, it gives move like this only. You can check its previous moves, like whenever it has big candles, you can see the kind of move it gives. So this is one of my favorite stock to trade. It does not give, like, within a month, if I get like 3 4 trades in Ultrachem, I'm very much happy guy. Vedanta, there is something in index, metal index. This is a trend line which it was following, and now this move is pretty much extended. And also we are in the zone of last swing high. For me, this is climatic selling. This is automatic rally. This is first test, and now second test. According to Wyckoff cycle, some test may happen here and then form a trading range and eventually break out. Markup phase. That is your accumulation cycle you have studied. Okay, but there are some advanced versions of cycles as well. Here we are forming this kind of thing. So this is your secondary test, which begins, you know, uh, the phase B. Now here holding and test this trend line, or I can also draw a trend line like this for Wyckoff and say this is my secondary test. Okay, and this could give you the upthrust, possibly upthrust of your phase C, beginning of phase C. Okay, then again a test possible, then your last point of supply, mark up, back up to the creek, and then bounce, something like that. Okay, is possible. So मेटल सेक्टर में एक accumulation cycle on है, all in all, over in short terms. Secondly, if we go on weekly charts, एक nice channel was going on. It broke out. So now breakout के बाद एक retest and then bounce. You can think in those lines as well. Okay, so let's see ये टेस्ट कहाँ तक आता है. आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग जहाँ पे ये लाइन का कॉन्फ्लुएंस हो रहा है, this point somewhere here, it will try to extend and then bounce. Okay, abhi if this is in accumulation, this metal sector is in accumulation, the major stock of the sector will already start moving up. Okay, always remember the leading stock of the sector, the leaders of the sector will start moving first, and then sector will follow along with the other stocks. Okay, so that's what I'm expecting a breakout of this trading range, small breakout, a test, and then bounce. And for the whole time, this line should get followed. Okay, this is not a trend line. This is your POS line. This, not a trend line. Okay, and also for this, keep and track of this moving average. For Vedanta, I am using EMA of 60 on closing basis. Okay, unless and until stock is trading above EMA, you can always look when there is some sort of correction happening in this, because now if it starts breaking out of range, then this EMA 60 will give him support. This is the dynamic trend line of this particular company. See, resistance, 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 tried to break out, could not sustain, tried to break out, could not sustain, tried to break out, could not sustain, and यहाँ पे EMI my moving average also got flat and formed a trading range. So this is one of the good example of your dynamic trend line. Those who want to know more about dynamic trend line, I have published a course, full course on trend lines and dynamic trend lines in the group. Go and find that course in the file section of the group. Okay, and Zeal, we are just carrying forward from the previous week. So these are the stocks, and most importantly, we forgot to discuss the indices at the beginning. So let's do it now. So यहाँ पे my second target is already achieved. Okay, and also my bank nifty is holding its dynamic trend line. अभी तक close नहीं दिया है. Okay, and also we were in this trading range, and now if it sustains, we can go back and test at least this level, or 30 to 100 ka level. Okay, but looking at the current scenarios around the world and all, any news, anything can happen. So we cannot for sure say that buy on dips or sell on rise or something like that. But I have not observed actually, but people do say that during the budget, market always stay on the high notes. So based on that, you may experience how it works in the coming years. It will help. So yeah, this is the range. First 32 150 will be our level. If it touches 32 150, this small gap will get filled. We have already filled this small gap, so nothing is left to fill. Just there is one, this gap is also left to fill, but this is a futures chart. Okay, and this is continuous future. So this is November's expiry, may or may not get filled. There is no compulsion to it. Okay, if in spot we are already into the filling area. Okay, so this is this for bank nifty. I'm bullish on bank nifty, looking for upside trades. Downside breakdowns, I'll wait and watch to get the proper idea first. Now this is your nifty. Nifty के लिए क्या था value, I forgot. हाँ, this one 55. So yeah, this is निफ्टी का डायनेमिक ट्रेंड लाइन, और उसके पास में खड़ा है. Any dip below will attract new buyers. Okay, as bank nifty is near its trading range, low bottom of trading range, nifty is in the middle of the trading range. Also this gap, is still pending. So Nifty, no trade for me, at least for tomorrow. देखेंगे फिर क्या हो रहा है. Also, if you notice on the RSI, after this break, यहाँ पे नहीं, यहाँ से after this Sitaraman का break, we are maintaining a bullish zone in the stock, and now we are at the support area of the bullish zone. Okay, also its average is almost flat, which is a good sign, because if it wants to bounce, this moving average will, this average value of RSI will give him a proper support. Okay, like here it was resisting, it was not allowing RSI to go up. Okay, so that's when you can look for exhaustions in the price action. And the same way, if flat है, थोड़ा नीचे आके ये ऊपर जा रहा है, तो it will give you you know dips to buy basically. So and if it breaks down below 40, then हमारा bear zone चालू हो जाएगा from this point only. If it crosses below 40, then our bear zone will start from this candle only. Okay, because जब ये 50 cross करता है, that area, that point we take as the start of zone and end of zone and start of new zone. So yeah, that's Nifty. I'm really not very much मतलब आज काफी दिनों बाद I posted this in the group in the morning that this is my level of rejection, just 15 points shy. I posted like 50-60 something level will be there, and इसका 76 का इसने low बनाया है. So 10-15 points से ये bounce कर गया and eventually moved up. So this rejection level worked out, but now there is a possibility that it may come down, because this is rejection level, not a reversal level. Reversal में trend reverse होगा. In rejection, it's a bounce basically. Price should bounce here, give a pullback, and then decide whether it's want to go down or go up. That's how you play rejections. Even I posted that look for exhaustions near this first initial bound. We have a very nice exhaustion and then continuous grinding up. So yeah, all in all, it's a good day. It was a good day today. I completed my trade in this only, this first of move only in Bank Nifty, not in Nifty. In Bank Nifty only I was done with the day, and then was trading this channel. नीचे आया तो buy, ऊपर गया तो sell. They're doing time pass with 1-2 lots. So yeah, that's it for acha, one more thing before I forget. Let me go on hourly chart. If some bad news continuously start flowing in, then we have this weird only. So yeah, thank you. If you have any doubts, group में I'm available, you can ask me anytime. We'll see you on Sunday in webinar. Okay, yeah, Gujarat fluoro you are talking about. I have established a position in Gujarat gas. Where is it? This one. On this breakout, I have established the position. I think I posted that as well in the group that day. Look for hashtag portfolio stocks. You will find that. Gujarat or Goldium में I have established the position. Goldium is not doing that bad. I have taken somewhere here position. Booked first 10% half year because supply line था तो थोड़ा tension था. And holding remaining half, maybe book tomorrow if it does not break out. Crude crashed. हाँ तो सप्लाई लाइन के पास था एंड वंस इट ब्रोक, चेक, जस्ट चेक अपना इस पे, does my crashing started at 440 4475 के जोन के आसपास? If it is so, then yeah, supply line breakout है ये. It will not even give hold at this level. It will go down and इसका swing low पे catch करेगा वो. Crude is trading in this channel, so nothing surprising as such. Last I traded here. इसके बाद मैंने क्रूड में ट्रेड बंद कर दिया है. How come? 4468 or 4268? 4268 is current price, might be. देख ही लेते हैं, चलो. अरे ये कंटिन्यूअस चार्ट नहीं देते हैं ये लोग. दिस इज टुडेज डेटा, मतलब वो 300 पॉइंट से ज्यादा गिरा. लेट मी टर्न ऑन माय डेटा फीड, लेट्स चेक. या, सो दैट्स व्हाट आई वाज सेइंग ना. ये जोन अगर इसका गया तो ये नीचे आया, रिटेस्ट किया एंड देन कोलैप्स्ड, बिकॉज हायर टाइम फ्रेम पे यहाँ पे सप्लाई लाइन है. अच्छा, यू वर टेकिंग दिस पीओएस. Something like that, this POS you are taking. See, that's what I'm saying ना. ये ब्रेक हुआ वैसे ही कोलैप्स हुआ, because supply coming in. But ये कुछ ज़्यादा ही है. This is maybe due to some news, and now it will hold here, huh? Remember, it will hold here. This is its rejection, reversal zone, not rejection zone. I need to do some calculation, but somewhere between 40 to 30 and 40. नहीं, करना पड़ेगा कैलकुलेशन इसको. जस्ट अज्यूम ना 40 टू 20 से 40 to 50. This is your reversal, huh?